Hello everyone, welcome back to the class. So now we are entering the last unit of our course and we are going to introduce one more new content for this week, which is a so-called Mukbang. So for this week, we are going to watch several videos about Mukbang on either YouTube or other video platforms and to understand what is this kind of interesting cultural phenomenon and how it's related to our contemporary life and how can we understand it. So in this video, I'm going to introduce what exactly is Mukbang and what are some of the potential questions we need to keep in mind when we watch this kind of videos. Okay, so the title picture I put it here is from Mi Zijun's video. So Mi Zijun is one of the YouTuber or influencer we are going to watch for Monday. And this whole picture is very representative in the world of mukbang because first you'll see a lot of food just piped up in front of you, and Mi Zijun is going to supposedly she's going to eat all of them. And if you pay attention to, you'll realize actually these the food she's going to eat is what we introduced last time, which is a very Chinese way of eating a lot of food, that is a hot pot. And the panda actually in front of you is supposedly the ox oil, which is usually heavily used in hot pot. And the title, if you see, there are 4 characters on the upper level of this image, which is in Chinese 我爱吃肉, literally translated I love eat meat. So it's very direct and very explicit, just letting you know she's going to eat a lot of meat in front of you. So just keep this in mind, and you'll see a lot of similar images and similar content throughout this week. So first, let's take a look at what is mukbang. Mukbang is actually a Korean word. So and a Korean word adopted into English. So nowadays, if you search in Google mukbang, it will pop up a lot of similar content about this kind of live eating show. And in Chinese, that is called 吃播, literally translated eating show. So supposedly this kind of very typical way of shooting someone eating in front of the camera became very popular in South Korea in 2010, and later it became a worldwide trend. So nowadays, not only East Asia, but also other parts of the world, even in the United States, there are people doing this type of video. If you search in YouTube, you will realize not only people from Korea and China, but also people from United States are trying to consume a lot of food in front of the camera, and but the type of food has a very great variety. They eat what they can access, and they just eat a lot. Basically, that's 2 very important features of this kind of video mukbang. And mukbang is consume food in front of the camera. And it can be either pre-recorded or streamed live through various platforms such as Africa TV, which is a popular streaming platform in Korea, and like YouTube, Twitch. The three latter one I colored in yellow is three of the many very popular live stream platform in China, which is Douyu, Kuaishou, and TikTok. So actually, those videos I posted on Moodle for you for this week are mainly from these 3 platforms. And one thing very interesting and you need to keep in mind is that this kind of eating show, this mukbang, very much emphasizes on the active communication between the content creator and the audience. They need to have a communication either asynchronized, like they pre-recorded a video and read the comments, or more frequently they will do the live eating show. So they will stream the process of eating in front of camera and at the same time communicate with their fans. So the fans will first send gifts to them, basically money, or they will order them to eat certain things, or even buy things and send to the place where the host is holding the stream and let the host eat it. So this kind of very close relationship between the content creator and the audience is one of the most important feature of mukbang. And it also kind of creates this popularity, this crazy popularity of such live eating show, because it is so engaging and you have various ways to participate in the show yourself. And about mukbang in East Asia or in China, first, as I said, it emphasizes on the quantity over quality. So you can see, as we show in the title picture, in front of Mi Zijun, there are several layers of slice of meat. And here, the girl on the left is what we're going to watch on Wednesday. Her name is A Little Cat Loves Eating. And the man or the woman, it's a little bit debatable about his or her gender. On the right, the person in front of him is a large plate, just full up of the bombs. So a quantity of the food, a lot of food to consume, is one of the critical elements when you are doing a mukbang show. But to consume such things, or to consume so many things at once, is opposing to the traditional food culture or the traditional East Asian or Chinese food culture, which values a healthy diet. So throughout the semester, we always keep in mind about what is actually Chinese food culture, what is different in China about eating, how do Chinese people think about eating. So to eat more vegetables, to eat healthily, to eat things what you can access, but within a certain reasonable amount, is a traditional way of considering when you consider eating in Chinese culture. But this kind of mukbang literally just flip those kind of tradition and do exactly the opposite. They eat a lot. They doesn't care that much about taste, but more about the quantity. And also, when we're talking about mukbang in China, especially in contemporary China, I think we shouldn't ignore the live stream culture nowadays in China, which is very popular and a little bit controversial as well. So about the live stream culture, it only appears that popular within this 10-ish years. And first, you need a female host. In Chinese called 女主播 or sometimes 美女主播, a very pretty female host, which is a first thing for you to engage your audience, to have more audience. So just like the girl on the left. And also, they will sometimes eat strange or exotic things just to show you the possibility, especially all those short clips on Kuaishou. A lot of them are focusing on eating strange things, which you may never consider that is edible, but they showcases you in front of the camera just to catch your eyeball and to attract more clicks. And also, you need to pay attention to the different styles in different platforms. So for example, in Kuaishou or maybe on Twitch, the live eating show is in real time, so there's no editing involved. But for like the man or the woman on the right, he or she actually posted the videos on TikTok or the Chinese format of TikTok, Douyin, where you need to concentrate or condense the length of your video. So he or she will do a lot of editing. And so the way of how to present this mukbang is different, and we need to pay attention to, with editing or without editing, how that influence our overall idea about mukbang and how that provides possibilities for these content creators to represent their mukbang. And there are several possible reasons for mukbangs. And there are several possible reasons for mukbang's popularity. So, for example, someone says it's for entertainment. It is entertaining to see people eating, especially like eating exotic things, eating strange things, or maybe eating just a lot of food. But considering that, I think the following question will be, what is considered entertaining in contemporary Chinese culture? And answering this question will help us a lot to understand why people just find pleasure in watching this kind of videos. And also other people argues mukbang, this kind of video, provide an escape for them from reality. And then the following question could be, what reality are they feel necessary to escape from? What kind of society or provides such a stressful life which which make them want to escape? And why the escape from reality is important, and why mukbang is able to provide you with a fantasy world or a different world for you to retreat to and keep distance from that stressful reality. And lastly, someone argued mukbang will help those people, especially when they are on diet, help them to gain the satisfaction of eating without actually eating. So they can watch people eating, but they got the satisfaction, but they don't need to eat for themselves. So their body, their physically didn't consume anything. But I think the following question will be, why on diet? Why diet is such an important thing in contemporary world or in contemporary China, and how we are going to view the idea about diet. And is there a way to do a healthy diet or just a diet for someone, some diet by requirement? So I think these are all possible reasons, but we need to go further to ask why. And a little bit more about Mi Zijun. So Mi Zijun is as I said, the YouTuber or the influencer we are going to watch on Monday. And she's born in 1992, so pretty young. And she is born in Chongqing, Sichuan. I think pretty close to Li Ziqi, if you still remember her. And they are both from that region, which is famous for its delicious food. Actually, the video we watched last week, the stir fry of the pork liver, that chef is also from that region. So maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's a phenomenon we need to pay attention to. So all these ideas about food and eating and cooking, majority of them are from that are from the Sichuan province, are from that southwest of China. And she's an influencer or YouTuber, and she does this kind of live eating show or mukbang. And you need to pay attention to the amount of food she eats, the speed she eats, and also the society she gains by eating. But she also got a lot of backlash, I think, a year ago. That is that because people found out the reason why she can eat so much food is because she has a need for purging after the binge eating. So after eating so much food, she needs to run out to the bathroom and force herself to vomit all this food out in order to eat more. And not only her health is greatly damaged by this kind of automatic or forced purging thing, but also her voice is actually pretty damaged, supposedly pretty damaged by the acid from the stomach. That is, when you do the purging, the acid from your stomach will go back to your mouth and will kind of burn your throat. So it is not healthy at all, and it kind of also related to the eating disorder. So the media will say she sets a model for the young, a bad model for the young audience about eating disorder. So that's the backlash she got, and that is why. And also she has some relationship, a relationship with her, so some problematic relationship with her boyfriend, which used to be holding the same channel with her. That is why she closed the first channel and now move on to the second channel. So I picked 2 videos for you to watch. Each of them are from the 2 channels of her, and are the most viewed videos of her. So you can see from the early years of Mi Zijun to the contemporary or to the nowadays Mi Zijun. I think the second video I posted is from this year, 2020. So you'll see how she evolved in the process, and how her way of eating is sort of different and perfected in the process. And when watching these videos, I would like you to pay attention to several things. So first, the time period. As we mentioned, now we are entering the contemporary China, and the food, actually, we got an excessive food supply in China nowadays. It's very different from what is described in the Chronicle of a Bug Merchant we read last week. So now food, or getting enough food, is never a problem. We got even more than we need to. And also we are now entering an internet era, and we are now changing our mode of living and communication based on internet. And we are now more closely, on the one hand, more closely related to other people through internet, while on the other hand, more exposed on internet. So because of the internet, you are able to see a person eating at their own house. So that kind of idea and that kind of expose of privacy is also very important when you watch those kind of videos. And second is a representation. So for example, the representation of the food and the music, what kind of music is accompany those eating action, and the camera angle. Is there any special about that camera angle that make you feel satisfied about eating about someone's eating? And is there any a stereotypical way to shoot a mukbang video? And also, I would say you need to pay attention to the mukbanger's appearance and persona. So if we take into consideration the popular live stream culture nowadays in China, which requires you to have a pretty female host, so what kind of appearance is there in the mukbang videos, and what kind of persona she is trying to showcase to us, and why that is important? And also the response from the audience. Just as I said, the close relationship between the content creator and the audience is one of the most distinguished features for those mukbang videos. So we need to think about whether this video is a real-time video or it's kind of a pre-recorded video but communicate with her friends with comments. And where does the satisfaction come from? So how those fans express their satisfaction in the comment section, or there are other voices mixed in the comment section as well. And lastly, what is so sensual about it? I think we always say the Xu Sanguan's way is to cooking for the ears. So he didn't actually do the cooking, but he kind of described the cooking, which makes everyone in the story mouth watering, or even us readers reading the story mouth watering. So that is if we call that is cooking for the ears. Now we are going to watch those videos, which is supposed to be eating for the eyes. So we kind of observe someone eating without eating by ourselves, but we still feel some certain level of satisfaction. So why we will feel satisfaction, and where does those sensual feeling about the food come from? Not only about the food, but also about the eating action, the action of eating the food. Where does those very vivid and satisfactory sensual feeling come from? And also the image of a female body. So just as I said, a female host or a good-looking female host is very important in this kind of mukbang video. So what kind of female body are we feel sensual about in these videos? And why is that important? And is the image of the female body comply to or reject our stereotypical way of understanding women in contemporary society? And lastly, I want to draw attention to this bigger question, that is, how would you define the eating in the postmodern time? So let's compare the Chronicle of a Blood Merchant versus this kind of mukbang video. I think they represent two extremes. Chronicle of a Blood Merchant described to us how extreme hunger could be, especially under such special political environment, such like how a normal people is going to live in the huge historical narrative. While mukbang is exactly the opposite. Instead of hunger, it represented to us the extreme way you can be satisfied. You can get away from hunger. You can be satisfied or fueled by food. And also mukbang, this kind of subculture is far away from the political environment or whatsoever. So these two, I will say, stands on the two extremes of a spectrum. But both of them represent the, if we can say, post-modernity of our time. And also one of them is text, and one of them is video, and one of them is in the format of book, while the other is kind of take advantage of the internet. But both of them showcases us the desire, that craving for new and the exotic and the different. But how does that relate to our everyday life? And how does this kind of desire able to define the postmodern era we are now living in? I think these are very interesting and bigger questions we need to always keep in mind when doing this kind of culture study or research. And lastly, how would you understand it as a culture? I think I asked you, what do you think is Chinese food culture in the very first, at the very first of the semester, and I think none of you mentioned this kind of video. So, do you think the mukbang video can be called a culture? And if so, what kind of culture it is, and what kind of audience it caters to, and can we call it a subculture or a mainstream culture, or there's actually no distinguish between subculture and the mainstream in nowadays situation? I think this is also a very big question we need to pondering upon. Okay, so I think that's all for today, and I hope you enjoy the videos for this week. Don't forget to leave a comments in the comment section, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.